Hi, Shekhar. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Irfan. I'm with Dorkaholics, and very excited for the opportunity to be able to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
Likewise, we often see that there are elements of sort of caricature, right, in the portrayal of South Asians in the West, especially in the media, and especially in covering topics like arranged marriages. So how do you think this movie counters some of those stereotypes?
Well, it counters it by actually a lot by the performances. The performances were so real, and that was something that we did in the workshop. All of us got together, and one of the things I kept telling the actors is don't play it being it's a rom-com. No, don't play it that way. Don't confine yourself to the ideas of rom-com. And don't confine yourselves to the ideas of the Asian Muslim, because if you reveal your heart and if you reveal who you really are inside, it'll resonate with the audiences in their hearts. And the moment they see you, the real heart you, therefore, then they will stop looking upon you as a representation or as a caricature. They can't do that. And therefore, that's why when I came away in the first casting crew screening that I had, 3 young men came up to me and said, "My God, my grandmother's just like that. She's exactly like that." And then, of course, everybody said, "My family's like that. My mother used to keep saying this thing to me." So it was just a way of getting people to identify with the idea of family, with the idea of their own family. And especially because we were shooting during COVID and people were so separated from the families. And I kept reading all people wanted to do in the West, in America, in Italy, in Europe, everywhere is, I need to see my mother. I need to see my family. I can't go. And I said, picked up on that. I said, everybody's recognizing that need, and let's use it in this film. So we did.
I love it. So creating characters that are authentic and really relatable. And I actually was, when I was digging deeper into your background, I found that you were born in British India, actually in Pakistan. So my father actually was born in 1946 as well, but in India. And I thought it was fascinating that as a British Indian, or as an Indian who was born in British India, who was born in Pakistan, you essentially moved to India. My father moved to Pakistan, so kind of the converse. I thought it was fascinating that the characters flew to Pakistan for a wedding. Did that influence, like, did your background being born in British India have an impact at all?
No, that was essentially in Jemima Khan's script. She got married in Lahore to Imran Khan. And so the script was written from her experiences of what arranged marriages are, what families are. And a lot of the characters that she picked up came from her experience of living in Pakistan for almost 10 years. So that's why we picked Lahore, because that's where the writer's experience was.
And going back to the topic of sort of authenticity, and I'm, again, a very big fan of some of the work that you've done. I think there's always sort of the challenge of reconciling between authenticity and then also appealing to sort of a larger crowd, right? Especially a non-Desi crowd. How do you sort of reconcile that in your films, right? Being authentic, but also, appeasing sort of a larger taste in a larger crowd.
I don't think I ever tried to appease a larger base here. I think what the appeasing of the larger base you see was inherent in the script because it was written by somebody who's from the West. But what I realized, and always have realized, doesn't matter. When I did Elizabeth, my first thing was I have to bring this character of Elizabeth away from the 1600s to the modern times, right? And only the film succeeded because everybody saw her as a modern day person.
Right.
And again, it will succeed. If it succeeds, will only be because they see the characters as real and authentic and not confined, as I said, into one little group. And I knew that if we could overcome that, then we'd be fine. Yeah, we'd be okay. And that's not, so I never actually tried to appease larger audiences. What I tried to do was to make the characters more real, heart-oriented, because at the bottom of it, we are very emotional human beings. We're all in search of the same things. We're all in search of love. We're all in search of intimacy. And if you could bring the characters down to that level of in their hearts, then you're not appeasing another audience. The other audience is coming into your world. That's what I love doing. Come to my world and see my world and come out having seen your own world. That's how that was done.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And best of luck to you. And we'll be sure to spread the joy of the movie around with everyone I can, especially in stateside.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi Shazad, how are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you again for this opportunity to meet with you. I'm very excited to be able to ask you a couple of questions. And if we can go ahead and get started. First question for you. So being of mixed Pakistani descent yourself, and portraying a Pakistani character really to a global audience, in what ways do you think that you can relate to your character?
Well, I suppose the fact that I've experienced that life, experienced that sense of family. I've been to Pakistan. I've seen it all, so hopefully that bleeds into whatever I'm doing.
What did you, I guess, enjoy the most about the film?
I mean, I just got to go to work with one of my best friends, Lily James, and get to work with amazing actors. I get to work with amazing directors and writers, and yeah, just the chance to also just give people a chance to see something they might not have seen before, and get a different perspective. Update their information. Of a thing that they might be slightly fearful of, and just to get the chance to play a character who has a lot of things going on, duality, a lot of inner turmoil. Everything about it was just sort of made sense to try and do.
In many ways, movies are designed to sort of elicit an emotional response, right, from viewers. What do you hope audiences would sort of take away from this movie?
Exactly that. I suppose it's, yeah, if there's some kind of emotional response, whether that be if they come out of the movie laughing or crying, or whether it makes them want to go and talk to their family or pick up the phone and tell the person, whenever I go to the movies, I want to come out and I get inspired. In the first 50 minutes, I'm like, especially a rom-com, I'm like, I love you, baby. I just want to, it makes me want to do some big decision. So, whether that's the right decision, I don't know. But I know that as soon as I come out of the cinema, I'm always like inspired in some way.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for your time, and thank you again for the opportunity to meet with you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, question. What did you think of her in real life?
She's great.
Yeah, but did you fancy her?
So please, say that on camera, come on. So annoying.
Fine. And are you nervous about the Mendi tonight? Actually, just tell me what that is.
Well, in Pakistan, we really like to draw out the wedding celebrations. It's over 3 days. And first is the Mendi, which is tonight. And kind of like a stag and a hen rolled into one. Except your grandparents are there, which is lovely. And the groom isn't stripped naked and tied to a lamppost. And then the next day is the nikah, which that's the actual marriage. And shadi, then valima. But the main thing is you have to look like you haven't enjoyed your first night together.
What if you haven't enjoyed your first night together? No comment?
No comment.